Thank you very much, Machine. Of course, joining me is going to be Jason. You've already been thrown under the bus a little bit. Are you going to go...
Per usual.
Are you going to go a little bit crazy with this one, or are you just going to stick with the world #1 team?
No, I mean, I'm going to stick with Astralis on this one. There's not an upset in the works, I don't think, here. I mean, CLG's looked better in like the North American, the online leagues, but this is a whole different level of competition. You know, I've said recently that I think actually NA, like all their teams, have taken like a step back, and that we don't have teams that can even compete with Tier 1 teams over in Europe. So this is obviously no difference. This is a really tough bid for CLG to get in the first match. Even with some of their improvements, Cutler is looking back in shape. Kust is playing a little bit more consistently better. Ricky's obviously a very powerful addition. The coach, or not coach, excuse me, the FNS coming back as in-game leader, that's looking to have like reinvigorated this team. So everything looks to be on the up, but I mean, you have to have realistic expectations, right?
Well, yeah, even looking sort of at the qualification, we wouldn't have seen them at least a few months ago being teams like Optic, Renegades, who, well, especially Optic have looked very, very good up until the sort of fall off recently. Cloud9 didn't make it through either. So there's plenty of teams that at least months ago we would have said there's no way they were getting through this qualifier. So now at least they have got themselves to a LAN, which we haven't seen in quite a while. But this is now the next step, whether they can actually compete.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think they can compete. I think I'm not really looking at this match for CLG. I'm looking at the ones that come after this. Like, who are they going to be matched up in the next round that's going to be 0-1? See what kind of opponent they get. Maybe get some of the easier wins under their belts and see what they can do later on in the event. But, I mean, this is now just so tough the whole tournament through. And especially on Train, because Astralis, you know, they're a very dangerous Train team. They're very scary on this map. They're the ones who stopped SK's, like, god-tier streak that they had on this map specifically. So this is what they won the major on against Virtus Pro. They've beaten the best teams in the world on this map. So this is a very, very rough situation for CLG to be in.
They won the knife.
They did win the knife.
Small positives. They got the knife.
I don't think they lost a single player in the knife round either.
No, it was...
They're flying.
They've done exactly what they needed to do there.
I hope they remember the feeling they had after the knife round.
The scariest thing as well is that Astralis, at least during the major, their T side was actually stronger, or it looked very, very strong. So this may not even be a sort of weakness, them starting on the T side. It could just be them getting to set the pace, they get rolling, and then CLG may never even get to start properly with the economy going. Yeah,
that's the big thing is with such a dangerous T side, you have so many different options of like how you can break the economy. And I mean, CLG needs to get started very, very quickly, and they need to establish that. That's going to be the big thing, the utility to hold them back. The AWPs, I mean, one of the big strengths that the CLG team is going to have is the possibility of a double up setup, of having Ricky from Renegades, who's been very, very powerful coming into this roster. Kust as well, you know, an Opper, who's had his ups and downs. But I mean, if you get a double up setup going, there's at least a strength for you. There's something you can rely on, but it's expensive. They can't be losing too many. They have to have some convincing round wins. They have to have so many different things go their way. It's just going to be so tough. Astralis is one of those teams that can just grind out the T routes. Like, even if you have like a really good TF yourself, like you just know when it switches sides, they're going to be a squad that can just pile on those rounds. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of style Astralis comes out with, like the no respect or something a little bit more calculated.
And do you reckon that FNS will have directly tried to counter Astralis? Obviously, this is one of the only games they'll have in the tournament where they have a decent amount of prep time. They can sort of look through all of the VODs and know exactly what Astralis should be doing.
Yeah, I mean that'd be nice. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Just because, you know, this is a team that's had a lot of changes. Like, FNS coming back is a big change in and of itself. Despite the fact that he'd been on the roster previously, Ricky coming in is a big change in itself. So I'm not sure if they feel like they've had enough of time together, like a base of experience with this 5-man core, to start, instead of focusing on your own game and improving yourself, of looking at opponents and being able to actually. Because the thing, right, like you can scout opponents, you can have all the idea of what's going to happen, but like you need to have the team coordination to be able to actually counter it. And if they don't have that team coordination, there's really no reason to go for some kind of heavy anti-strat style.
Either way, we are straight into the pistol round. It's going to be an aggressive push over towards this B site from the Ts, and we do have a fairly passive hold. 2 players already on this B site for CLG, but it's quickly out ramp, already pushing towards that site, trying to get towards the connector. And, well, Cutler, he's tapping shots away, but can't quite connect anything at the moment. The bomb is going to go down comfortably, and already trades have come in.
Yeah, that's crazy. The smoke isn't even used, so look at this. Astralis is pushing all the way up these lanes. That Molotov traps 2 CLG players in the choke point. Dupree close up is going to get one. He's traded off, but there's still... These battles are taking so far away from the actual bomb itself. They have a lot of ground they need to cover.
Back down to a 2 versus 3. They do at least have the man advantage going in, and Glaive is going to be shut down, leaving it onto Device, who has nothing to play with, not even Kevlar, just trying to defend this bomb. But he shouldn't be able to get anything done, spraying through that smoke, and the bomb is just going to be defused. Nothing he can do, and it will be the first round going in. And actually, well, the only kill that comes in, what? Kusta kills a teammate, but makes all the money back.
Yeah, that's not bad. So, I mean, having a little bit of a laugh. Obviously, Device just desperation jumping into that smoke. Actually, it looked like he was even going to have the lineup in that smoke defuse, but a little bit, I mean, you mentioned he didn't have Kevlar, so that aim punch may be throwing him off. But that's really interesting. That almost works out for Astralis. Just basically one flashbang to blind Cutler, who's playing in connector far, far back. And without even the use of his smoke, not only do they get all the way into the site, but they're pushing all the way up. The plan is to have that Molotov contain them as long as possible to give the Astralis players an advantage on the angle for when the retake does eventually come in. And it almost works. It buys them plenty of time, but just some good shots on the retake.
Yeah, minimal investment, of course, from this round. Astralis are going to be buying into the next. Already done a bit of damage onto FNS, and the nade will be able to dunk out one. This should be a clean round. Obviously, looking at the buy, fairly risky, in fact, from CLG, just based on the fact that in the next round they should know that there are actually AKs coming and may have to rebuy some of these weapons. Kirby sneaking around, can't quite finish off Kusta. Obviously, head armor versus the Glock. It's just not really the best weapon to have in any situation.
Yeah, but I mean, that'll be a fight we likely see later on in this game. And actually, another plant is going to go down. There's no utility to stop this. So, I mean, extra $800 round. I mean, this is a round victory. Even if they're going to end up losing it, they got, they accomplished all their goals in this round. Astralis did. That's going to be a fight though that we're going to see Astralis go back to. Is Kirby kind of lurking out, what we term Olaf Meister and getting back to that old hell. If he gets that far with a Glock and no utility and no one spotted him just because Kusta and FNS maybe had like a little bit of a miscommunication who's watching what, he's going to test that later on when the guns come out. He's going to say, if you're going to have your eye off this location for that long, I'm going to try and exploit that.
Well, I think it was something that FNS actually said in the interview done with him by, I think it was HLTV, but they said something along the lines of, like, we can't really look to counter too much because we're still making a lot of mistakes. And, well, these are the sort of teams, you make any mistakes, they are going to find them and they are going to exploit them.
And actually, this is now going to be the first real test, isn't it? The two plants in these first two rounds, no real investment. Device already has the AWP. That could actually, that's an early op, so that might actually catch CLG off guard. Kusta's still on the scout. 2 rifles, and or 3 rifles, excuse me, in the SMG. The UMP is out. So 3 members towards Ivy for Astralis. Looks like they want to apply some pressure there. And actually, CLG isn't playing that game. This time it's a passive defense over towards Ivy, and they have 2 players getting very, very up close and aggressive in T-mid, taking complete control of that.
Yeah, glass cannon AWP, of course, meaning so that all these nades do leave Device a little bit vulnerable. The peak will come out from Kusta. Now, he's going to have the chance to one-shot, but it's not even coming in. Dupree will get the entry frag over towards Ivy, and they do have control, as you said, of T-main, but the problem is they don't have any control further back on the map. They're just sticking to the site on B, and this could be an easy pincer back out. The only thing is the surprise factor. They may not know this aggression has actually come into play, but if you look at how Device is playing, it seems like he does have an inkling.
Well, he's got to at least be cautious and mindful of the fact, because they haven't had eyes on T-mid in quite some time. So, I mean, this is just why Astralis is so dangerous. Just focus at all points, knowing this is a possibility. This round is all up to Finesse and Ricky in mid to hold this off, because Glaive has the bomb. So if they get those 2 kills and this execute the split onto the outside bomb set actually comes down, then Astralis is put into a really tough spot. And actually, they're just going to circumvent that entirely. They have players in position for this outside execute. Maybe just faking the footsteps. Glaive did the run up the stairs, maybe hoping that they would think it was going to be towards the inner bomb set. That forces the peek out of Ricky, and now he's spotted it.
Yeah, they know exactly where this push is going to be coming in, and leave Finesse in the corner, finds one, but quickly traded out by Device, who's looking for more. They've only got 20 seconds, though, to actually make this push back in, so he needs to get this kill and get the bomb, but Cutler on the other side has done the damage needed, brings it back to a 2 versus 2. And now we're just going to have to wait. They've only got 10 seconds. They've got to make their move. Cutler again peeks out. 3rd kill of the round. Zipix, there's no chance for you here. He's got to find both kills in a matter of seconds. And all that has to happen from Ethan is to hide. Yeah,
so nicely done. Cutler just gets that 1 kill, and he saves the round. Not only that kill, but the double kill before it, because Ricky and FNS didn't have as much success as they would have liked. That was really nicely done by Device, but with the AWP, had to do it so patiently. That's what runs the clock down. So nice composure by CLG when they lose Kusta over towards Ivy, just having faith in the setup that they ran, having faith, Glaive faking the footsteps as well, not falling for any of that, and then, Cutler with just the timely kills to run down the clock.
Now we actually get a bit of a quasi-buy coming in for the T side. They're going to mix things up, get that AWP in play, probably even more surprising than the previous round. However, Kusta now has one to counter, and in fact, we may just see some early aggression over towards that B site. A little bit of presence there from Zipix, waiting to see if anything will be taken. But in terms of the CT setup, they've just rotated a second player over towards that B side. They know that the likelihood is Astralis are going to want to get the bomb down. And Device, well, he's already tagged down to just 17 HP with that ult.
Yeah, he's just got to pray that a nade doesn't come in there. But he's in a position where with this, even with only 17 HP, if the timing just worked out in his favor with that AWP, he can still find a pick here. So still a chance. Glaive doing a jump to check and see if there's any aggression in the ladder room. And meanwhile, with the AWP on Kusta, CLG playing a much more passive defense this time around. Last round, we saw 2 pushed up in team mid. This time, they're all playing at the bomb train. Looks like Ricky's going to be up in heaven as well. And Astralis, no real indication of what they're going to end up doing. Glaive is in a position where he can either go outside or to the inner bomb site with the bomb. He's just in the middle of the map at the moment, just waiting. And it seems like now Astralis is readjusting.
Yeah, still plenty of utility, though, for the CT side to actually play with. So the stopping power is going to be high. They're looking like they're about to fake a few nades over towards the A side just to try and bait the remaining CT players to move. Now, obviously, the B site, renowned for its bomb plants, but also very retakeable for the CT, so they don't really have to overdo it here. They've been able to win versus buy after buy, even if the bomb goes down so far. So there's not really any reason for them to go overly aggressive. But here comes the push. 15 seconds left already. Cutler going to drop the first. The bomb trying to make its way over towards the site and will just about cross. Cutler still just trying to deny, but it will go down. But they've already lost 2 players, and we're into the retake.
Yeah, but this is so nice. CLG's taken so many advantages. They just keep pushing up. No one from Astralis is there to slow them down. They don't have the manpower to prevent that from immediately taking out the bomb planter. This is a nice defense. One of the big keys as well. Running down the clock, Ethan holds on to his utility. He has a Molotov left, so as soon as the smokes and flashes start streaming out, Molotov on lower ramp does some damage. 4-0 for CLG, off to a very good start. There's been decent amount of plants for Astralis, though, and as this bonus money builds up, you can see they can still afford to put a buy together here. They're going to have 3 AKs on the board already.
And the saved AWP as
well.
I
think the money for CLG as well is going to be pretty solid now.
Yeah, they kept everybody alive in the previous round, and the last couple they've been able to build up, even versus the early round buy, which can normally counter all the economy that is built. But we're still going to have a little bit of a skimp onto Glaive. He's got that Tech 9. We know the run and gun power of that pistol, so it's not the worst case scenario, and we're actually going to spot some aggression from Ethan. But he doesn't see anything, and, well, really, they're now just going to be able to push back in without any knowledge really being gained.
Well, he didn't see anything, but he certainly heard the op. He's a little bit lucky that op shot misses. So he gets the information. Obviously, that kind of an aggressive play, maybe, I mean, not expecting to have an AWP just waiting for him. So at least he has that intel, and now look at CLG. 2 players aggressive towards ladder room. This is Finesse and Ricky. They seem to really be paired up on this defense at the moment. They're waiting for some kind of a fast flank. 2 players inside holding this off.
This is where the push will be back in. Cutler, he's been doing very well so far and a lot of early damage. He's got support from Ethan as well, but it's all Cutler at this moment in time. Dupree able to trade 1 back, but they're kind of stuck on the side at the moment, not finding anything, and Ethan's still just doing the damage. They haven't been able to shut these players down, and now it's all onto Dupree. He's got 3 kills, but Kusta with the AWP returns, and that's another round on the board, 5-0.
Yeah, this has got to be frustrating, especially for Device. He had a perch. I mean, he was dueling. He was trying to hold that angle that Cutler was peeking, but some very, very good shoulder peeking to bait out a shot and then committing during the reload. I mean, if you're Astralis, CLG did a very good job of not committing to any kind of a fight there, just luring them into a trap. Some very good reads coming out on the CT side, and now up 5-0. It's looking good so far for CLG, and that's one big thing we should talk about is Cutler's kind of resurgence at a player. He had a very, very noticeable down year in 2016, and FNS's return to this lineup seems to have rejuvenated him. 2 players who played together for a very, very long time. FNS was his longtime in-game leader. Coming back in, obviously, knows some kind of trick to allow Cutler to play at a better level.
Back to pistols for Astralis. They're going to make their way through Ivy, actually just slow pushing this. Now, we saw this work previously towards the beginning of the game, but already Kusta is going to start things off with the AWP. Finesse has spotted out Kirby as well, so no extra damage to be done there. They have got a couple of players low, however, so maybe they can at least make this costly, but it's looking like a complete cleanup at the moment from CLG. Device with 1. Still looking for more, but 4 players alive, that's absolutely fine.
Oh, this is absolutely sick. So only losing 1 player, yeah, they're going to be very, very happy with that one. And you could see a little bit Astralis putting that player, a couple players down that train alley, a couple players towards Ivy, trying to get that out. And this is now, you know, Astralis still a chance to come back in this, obviously. I mean, you're never going to count them out, but this CT side so far is very, very good. Astralis needs to find some way to start chipping down the economy. If they're going to be losing these rounds, they need to be getting kills. They need to be getting, 2 to 3 kills, force some rebuys, force some drops. And here's the struggle, defensive switch up. Now Ricky's got the AWP, so the double op setup comes out in round 7.
And finally, we're actually going to see a decent full buy as well. We've seen some sort of mixed buys coming out from Astralis, trying to force the issue with the AWP that they managed to save. But this time, everything invested. Again, just playing a default, just waiting, taking some early aggression, but they're actually going to push in. This time, not wasting anything. It's all going to be on Ethan. Finds the first. Decent damage. Actually gets the second as well. Shutting down this push, holding down this anchor on the B side. Finally traded out, but it's already a 4 versus 3 for the CT side. Glaive, he has to do some damage here. Sprays one, the second picked up by Device, and somehow they've actually brought it back to a 2v2.
Yeah, this has become a little bit dangerous. Zipnik's on top of the high trend. He gets the kill. Spray control is nice. Kusta with the op. He's got it all to do, 1-on-2. I don't think he spotted the player on upper ramp, and actually there's Zipnik's as well. Being patient, not chasing down the bomb quite yet, trying to figure out where Kusta is in the first round on the board. The switch into the double op setup, it comes at a very opportune moment. Fast play towards the inner bomb site. And it seemed like on the rotation, CLG was just a little bit too passive, a little too hesitant coming out of connector and actually rotating. One Molotov blocks them off, and when they choose to go, they're fighting in the flames. Glaive kind of freezing people in the fire. So despite, KRB having a rough game, 0-7, but this is where they can start. If they can break the economy of CLG, they're right back into this. They have some ways to go for it still, but it's not far off.
Yeah, and I think after that round, we're actually going to see the return to the two-pronged defense over on the B side, because that was the first round. I think we've actually seen just Ethan there alone pick. Not going to come in, both players missing the shot over towards Ivy. 3 players actually positioned there for the T side at the moment, so it is looking like a position they want to take control of. The bomb in the meantime just waiting back. A little bit of a flunk nade. Not going to be helping
Just a little
at all.
bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
At least it doesn't kill him or anything.
Nobody saw it. Dangerous game spamming through like this, but not getting any pressure, and this allows, yeah, you're exactly right. These 2 players playing together, we've seen them alternate where they want to be aggressive, sticking together very, very much, and yeah, 2 players inside as well, Cutler and Ethan. Ethan's a young player in NA that's worth keeping your eye on. He's had a good game so far in terms of his impact. But is CLG going to be able to read this one? The scary part is Ivy doesn't have a lot of attention on it from the defense. Kusta's rotated over to bomb train, 2 players aggressive in ladder room. This opens a lot of avenues for these alley players. If they want to get towards CT spawn, they have a route completely given to them by CLG.
Yeah, this is, well, not looking like the right read at all at the moment. Down to 40 seconds on the clock. The T's yet to make their move, but the bomb actually going to make its way through pop. That's perfect. They've just been given that by the T side, and now with only 30 seconds left, they have to try and retrieve it. Kusta on the site. The bomb will actually be retrieved, but only 25 seconds left, and Kusta could be perfectly positioned to deny any further pushes out. But he doesn't know there's players behind him. They are going to be sneaking in. Kirby gets one. He's on the board. Gets a double as well. And that's the change up. That Ivy control doesn't work out at all. And now it's all onto Ethan. Not really anything he can hope to achieve other than maybe save his weapon and do a tiny bit of damage. Kind
of crazy. They had a pretty decent read that it was going to be coming ladder with 2 players there. They at least get the 1 kill. And Finesse looks like he's going to be able to hold off more. But, it had to have been a brilliant shot from Device to get that op kill when he drops down ladder. That kind of saves the day. Meanwhile, yeah, I think giving up Ivy like that's just too much from CLG. You're giving Astralis way, way too much ground to work with, and you could see Kusta at bomb train when they're trying to recover the round, just didn't even have the intel that it was really possible. He had someone watching his back, but no idea how close it's coming. So nice patient play from Astralis. Some early trading goes well, and they just kind of strangle the A bomb site from there.
Yeah, now we actually get to see how CLG are actually going to be doing economy-wise. Of course, that's 2 rounds in a row for Astralis. They did have a decent string together, but I don't think it was enough to quite buy 3 rounds in a row, unless this may be a little bit of a mixed quasi. And I think that'd be quite risky to try and challenge back. But they did at least save 1 rifle, something to play with on Ethan.
Yeah, and at this point, what they want to avoid, what you always want to avoid on the CT side, actually, obviously the economic reset. So, any save gun is going to help alleviate some of that pressure. They can buy through some of this losing bonus as it builds up. Here's Ethan in the previous round. Or this is the first one they get. So Zipnik's finally gets that kill, and then a very, very good clutch. We saw, a good situation. He's just so good in those kind of. Oh, look at this fast inner rush right now, and Cutler's not able to prepare for it. And here's the Molotov as well to block off rotations. This might just be round over. This might be a save call just immediately.
Yeah, not anything invested on any other players other than Ethan, who had the rifle from the previous round. There's no reason for him to try and push back in here. Just keep that into the next. If he can catch someone on the exit, as you can see, they're waiting for it, and then he can get another weapon into a teammate's hands, that's perfect. But really, he just wants to make sure this is into the next round. Maybe he can then drop an AWP over to one of his teammates, which, well, so far we've already seen multiple players pick it up on the CT side, and Kuster, I think, was 9-1 up until that previous round.
This is where this is part of the danger of Astralis is the playbook is just so deep. They can go to so many different things, and one thing that even catches off some of the best teams in the world is there are these changes of pace. We saw it to Virtus Pro at the Major. Worked out very, very nicely in here. I mean, you know, just an inner rush, just a call like that. I mean, it is just kind of a pistol save with the 1M4, but we saw it earlier, pretty fast play towards the inner bomb site. And this is the thing. I mean, CLG's either got to have a read or just have to have success in that initial defense of whoever's inner, because the Molotovs in connector are really killing him when they try and rotate over. It's really stopping him from having any success. Buys plenty of time for Astralis to get in good post-plant situation or positions and move up the train alleys to prevent any more retake opportunities for CLG.
Yeah, now, while the complete change in money stance, Astralis with a ludicrous amount of money considering they've only got 3 rounds on the board. I think 6K is the minimum we saw on their side of things. Once again, 3-pronged attack over towards
That has to
Ivy.
have been a misclick as well. Oh, no, that's
I think
okay.
that's
So
intentional, yeah.
yeah, he's trying to just bait him into it, saying, yeah, just hide in this left. So calculated from Finesse.
Whether they check it or not. Actually, Pot Flash comes in. I think that was a team flash, so
Yeah, that might
just
not have been
trying to
calculated.
either that or they really are trying to sell the fact there's no one here just by flashing their own teammates. But I don't think anyone on Astralis will be buying that. The bomb, in the meantime, it's just going to be rotating back around, looking like they are going to look to hit towards this A site, especially with the 3 players over towards Ivy. That we have actually seen a switch again from the CT side, bringing in a second player in the form of Kuster. Just going to be waiting, and he is on the AWP. That was something that was discussed on the desk, who would actually be picking it up. They said that Ricky was sort of bringing it in a bit more, but at least in this sort of stance, Kuster seemed to have it first choice every time.
Interesting to watch Astralis every round. 3 players over towards Ivy. Here comes the execute. Smokes lined up. Finesse gets 1. He's traded off. There's Kuster with the AWP. Not going to use the Molotov, and he's actually trapped in this position, but Kirby doesn't even go for him. He goes all the way around. Is that going to be spotted? Does he have the intel? Ricky close up on the fight. He finds Device. He's got to reload and fall away. He's not going to. Zipnix chases him down, but Kirby's still alive until just now. And Kuster with his movement might have fooled Zipnix, someone who's got great game sense, very aware, one of the best clutch players as well, as we saw in Katowice, in a 1-on-2. And he's actually just going to circumvent everything, but it's spotted out. Shot misses, but he's got 10 seconds to plant.
Has to move quickly. Actually going to go and plant back towards this. Kuzmini moved towards oil. We're actually going to wait for Cutler. If he can bring this into a 1 versus 1, then this could all be on the cards. And well, it's all down to Kuster now. He's just going to be able to fall back towards that oil position. And it's all on Kuster with the AWP to try and push back in. He doesn't have any utility other than the kit. So he has at least a little bit of time, but he's going to be spotted out, and Zipix on the clutch once again. And it didn't look like he was in the right spot to do that initially. Kuster could have caught him going back into that connector.
This is why he's one of the very best, though. I mean, look at all the disadvantages. He's got Kuster wrapping around him, and I mean, just 1 missed shot in connector, and he's got the opportunity. Even, I mean, and this is where maybe there's a bit of a mistake from CLG. You have plenty of time, right? When he's going inner with the bomb. Why in a 2-on-1, why are you splitting up? Your numbers is your biggest advantage because you obviously lose track of where he's planting, where he's going. So with Kuster flanking down the lower ramp and Cutler coming from CT spawn, you've isolated 1-on-1s for Zipnix. You've done it yourself. He doesn't even really have to do any work to find that. So, I mean, stick together, just play off the trade.
And now they are going to be back to pistols. Astralis looking to make as much money as humanly possible. Cutler will at least drop 1, and actually a second coming in for Kuster as well. So at least keeping this costly for the T's. We know that they have a big economy building up. Maybe Ethan can at least. If he can drop 1 more, then this has actually been more of a cost than anything gained for Astralis. 2 is not bad, but it's that 3rd kill that really does the damage.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I mean, obviously, I mean, that Zipnix down there, just to bring his name up 1 more time, he's going to be well aware. So Ethan maybe just try and grab a rifle, some kind of AK-47 right at the end. But either way, Astralis now firmly back in control of this match. Not only are they climbing up on the scoreboard, but complete economic control. They've won 5 straight now. This will be the 5th. So CLG has got to come up with an answer. The interesting thing is, like, the opening action for Astralis, they're sending 3 players towards Ivy, Device, and 2 AK-47. So even if, I mean, CLG might not know that, but even if they want to get aggressive towards Ivy to find that pick, there's 2 AK-47s there to just prevent that. So Astralis has kind of planned a pretty nice T-side at the moment.
Well, the thing, we actually saw them, I don't think it was because of a counter, because they didn't know yet, but in the earlier rounds, they were taking control of Team main. So,
yeah.
And actually going over towards Pop, although that one actually didn't work out for them very well. But if they were to push just that little bit further, it would be a hell of a risk. But in most of these scenarios, they'd actually get all the information they needed.
Yeah, well, I mean, the tough part is even when they had that stack and control of Team Mid, yeah, they'd have the information. But remember that stack didn't really work out as much as they wanted it to. It was kind of Cutler who saved the day at Bomb Train with 2 kills and ended up with 3 in the round. So, I mean, in reality, Astralis managed that pretty nicely. And now they just have so much money. They have plenty of money for an AWP on device, no matter how often they want it. He's sitting at 11,000. So now it becomes, what's the adjustment out of CLG? If they want to get aggressive on some of the other side of the map, I mean, there is a player. There are Astralis players watching for an inner push, watching for like ladder and team main pushes as well, while their attention is focused on Ivy. I think we're at the point now where CLG maybe just sit back a little bit, get the op in Kusta's hand again, play him on Bomb Train, and don't try and take over team mid, don't try and take over ladder room. See if you can, give Kusta the time to find a pick with that AWP.
Yeah, or even bring out the double again, because the thing is, they got caught off by the pace of it, but a lot of these rounds, Astralis are not doing that. They may opt to switch it up here.
They've gone back to it. So, yeah, I mean, the last time they did this, it was that very fast play towards inner, right? So, I mean, the double op setup, that's like the least ideal situation for it.
I was actually wondering if we'd see a fast play once again, because that's a lot of teams do that after a pause. Just throw in a fast round just to completely throw off any counter, but we're going to see some aggression coming out from the CT side. Zipic's just going to fall back. And actually, after spotting those 2 players, they may just go explosively onto the A side. Yeah, they're going straight out. The AWP's holding back, trying to deny any sort of push onto the side, but the bomb's going to go down, and these after-plant positions on A are so powerful, it's going to be very difficult to get back in. Kusta at least finding one. The boost up from Ethan as well may be able to do a little bit more, but Zipic's just playing passively. He has been spotted, but they're just wasting this time down. Zipic's then actually counters Dupree waiting in the corner, but they haven't spotted him. He's going to go back through the smoke, and Kirby will finish off one more. Kusta doing all he can, but it's looking like they're just going to have to duck out of this round. It's a 2 versus 3. After plants, Ricky trying to find one with that AWP, but that should be it done and dusted now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sick call from Astralis. I mean, you can just see as soon as Zipnik spots that inner push, I mean, you could tell Astralis has done their theory crafting back at home. They've encountered all these situations before, and the plan immediately is just to execute out on the outer bomb site. So he wins. I mean, he does the damage to Cutler, and then immediately the smokes are up and the choke points. They're already pushing down and planting the bomb before the rotations come in. So that's very nicely done. That's tough to counter. A little bit unfortunate for CLG, but really nice management of the map from Astralis. And even then, I mean, you could see the retake was really forced. Kusta jumping through the smoke with an AWP. They didn't have any kits that last round. They didn't have a lot of utility, so they had to just kind of go for it. 6 in a row now for Astralis.
Yeah, and this is where things start to get a little bit worrying for CLG. They did start very, very strong, but once the buys have started rolling in for Astralis, they haven't been able to counter a lot of these fast pushes, and it's going to be another one. Ethan, well, he's got support this time. Cutler is going to be able to shut down one, and Ethan doing the damage once again. Cutler, this tag team just seems to be absolutely wonderful. Glaive left alone, and they get around.
Yeah, this time CLG not caught off guard by the fast play from Astralis, but might be a little bit too late. 6 rounds already, plenty of money as well for the rest of the half. But yeah, that Cutler and Ethan duo, outside of like the very fast plays, those two at the defense of the inner bomb site has been very, very effective.
Yeah, the crossfires have been working wonderfully. As you said, no problems with the money for Astralis. They'll be able to buy it back up. CLG actually have made a little bit of cash themselves, but they're still going to be in problematic circumstances if they do lose this round. Once again, only 2 players this time are going to go over towards Ivy, but it definitely seems to be a point of contention. Ricky going to try and go for this aggressive peek into the Molotov, and all he really loses is his health. They're still going to take control of that position anyway.
Yeah, very aggressive. Trying to get a little bit of a cheeky kill before he falls away. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, the only thing he loses is the HP. Down to about 52, and there's Dupree, aggressive towards Ivy. This time the pace is picked up, but it's on the other side of the map. Kusta's not ready for it, also not having the AWP. And Dupree, he just kind of slinks right back in towards Ivy behind the smoke, and this time it's Device's turn. But Zipnik's, how's he gotten there with no one noticing? Ricky finds that kill, and now a couple for CLG. Really turn this around, and Finesse being aggressive, he finds the bomb. No matter what kills come out now, they have to chase that down. They've got plenty of time for it, but it's going to be tough to navigate all the way across the train yard.
Yeah, they have the site, they just don't have the bomb to plant on it. It is only going to be one man actually defending it. The rest of the team aren't really attempting to support FNS at all.
Yeah, this CLG team is dangerously split up at the moment. I mean, because they're so split, he can't even really protect the bomb. Can't even really have intel on it.
Although they do have a pretty good, well, they've got very good positions to deny any sort of plant at all. Ethan's actually going to catch out one, and now Device, he's left over towards the back of the site, going for the AWP fake flash. Stole that one out of the handbook of Simple. And now, well, he's down into 1 versus 2. 14 HP to play with. He knows where the bomb is, but he knows where neither of his opponents currently sit. 15 seconds to try and make his move, and there is FNS to finish him off. Picks up the AWP, and they get an 8th.
Yeah, and just not enough time on the clock for Device there to try and do anything. Brings it into a 1-on-2, but just 20 seconds, you have to clear everything in that outer train yard. Again, though, I mean, Dupree with a phenomenal opening kill towards Ivy, picking up the aggression. And then CLG just responds again with that mid-pressure. This time, Finesse pushes all the way up to get the bomb down, and that's really where this round kind of got sealed, despite some of the awkward positioning of CLG. Just such a big advantage when Astralis has to go all the way across the map again.
Double AWP setup in play once again. The early pick comes out, and Device is there to win it. The opening frag going their way. And they're actually just going to fall back into a default.
A single flashbang from Astralis completely neutralizes Ricky's position. Very, very nice teamwork to allow Device to find that opening pick. That's playing for your offer. Finesse pushing as well. He finds the rebuttal. Very nicely done. And now Ivy is pretty much cleared out. And Cutler with an AWP, so he picks it up off Ricky's body and finds Kirby.
Yeah, they brought this back. The push out from Device, trying to sneak down towards Bomb Train. He does spot out Kusta, but jumping across his screen wins the duel and actually brings it back to a 4 versus 2. They're now going to try and rotate over towards this B side, but this has been where pretty much the best hold has been. Ethan just waiting for this push, spots out one. They know exactly where this is coming, gets the kill, leaves it onto Glaive, and Cutler will finish things off. 9-6, restoring their 3-round lead, although they started 6-0, so it's not too bad, though.
No, I mean, it's nice that they recover there at the end. I mean, that was a very good half. I mean, pretty good half from CLG. I mean, it kind of sucks for them that they lost, the kind of the grip on this match for 6 straight rounds. Nice recoveries from Astralis. Obviously, it's not all in CLG's control. But I mean, very, very good at the end to, again, adjust, get the ops back out, calm down, get those last 3 rounds to keep the lead. So 9-6. I think that's better than anyone kind of expected coming into this match against the, the world #1 on Train. Pleasantly surprised with that defensive hold between Ethan and Cutler towards the inner bomb site.
Yep, we're just going to hand off to a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. Of course, we've just seen the first half of Astralis versus CLG. CLG actually definitely showing up so far. A very good start to the game. It can't be denied. And it looked like it was going to spiral out of control, but they do sort of settle themselves. They win the last 3 rounds. 9-6. Definitely not a bad half overall.
That Zipnik's clutch was pretty heartbreaking, that 1-on-2 that he had. I forget exactly what the scoreline was when he came out with it, but I mean, that's a pretty critical round when you have the advantages as CLG to drop that one. But yeah, I mean, big runs from both teams, 6-0 to 0-6, and then finally the last 3 go to CLG. So now it gets a little bit interesting. Now we'll see what CLG has to bring out on their T side. What kind of tactics are they gonna bring to bear against Astralis?
Go straight in with a Deagle onto Ricky. He wants to play that range game. They're going to make their way over towards this B site. Similar to defense to what we saw previously being held by CLG, but the spot has already come in. Xyp9x has at least seen a couple of players. They know that this should be coming in this direction. They're going to fall back, take this as more of a retake. They do have a kit and a smoke ready to try and make this work. And while we're looking at Ricky, can he do anything with this Deagle? At the moment, the answer is no, but they will make the cross. Device picks up the first. They're going to go aggressive, similarly to what we saw before. But so far, they haven't managed to find anything.
Yeah, and that Molotov not really delaying too many rotations. Astralis goes through CT spawn, and now they're just getting all the range kills. Kusta can find nothing with that burst fire. Bomb is down, and here comes all of Astralis. That Deagle hasn't worked out. And he'd have to have some kind of a miraculous round here. Ooh, that's a nice shot. The defuse is coming in, and he can't really do anything to stop it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not really the weapon you want to have when you got 5 players trying to finish you off all at once. Astralis will get themselves the pistol. The bomb did at least get planted, so that's something for them to play with. It's likely they're just going to minor invest in this round and go for the full buy into that third round of the half.
The difference between the T pistol rounds are virtually the same, outside of maybe a smoke in the hands of Astralis that CLG didn't have. But I mean, the big difference is Xyp9x close up was spotting, and so as soon as he sees that body, both players defending the inner bomb site shift over. Like the whole defense shifts just one man. That player in connector shifts into the B bomb site. The player who's out on the outside bomb site shifts into connector. So they have an extra jump that CLG didn't have when that Molotov comes out. Astralis was able to beat it, and they just used the range of those USPs to great effect.
This round is going to be a few pistols invested, a flashbang onto Ricky. And we can already see 3 rifles ready and waiting for that third round buy to come in. So not going to be expecting too much. A kill or 2 will be more than expected. Obviously, we did actually see Astralis get a bomb down, but I don't expect that to be happening again.
Yeah, they actually got 2 plants. And yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to be an option, as most of 2 players of CLG has just been mowed down, and I think Astralis has a great idea of what's coming next. And I mean, also the difference is, you know, no scout, not a FAMAS, not as many SMGs. There's 3 M4s on the board, knowing that this round is going to be a buy because of the plant.
CLG looking like they're about to lose their lead, but it is going to be the AKs in play versus a couple of UMPs. Now, it's obviously a weapon that we've seen so much recently. They're maybe considered a little bit overpowered.
Maybe. One could make that argument,
just a tad, but we will see what they can actually do going into this first buy round. They have a few smokes to play with, no incendiaries or Molotovs, as I should say, right, and not too many flashbangs or anything really to go about utility, whereas the CTs are pretty much fully blown. They're going to make their way over towards what looks like a B-side push, and there is actually only Xyp9x here at the moment, so it could be perfect.
Yeah, spam coming through as well. Not doing a whole lot of damage with the UMP. Ricky down to 82. This is a different kind of T-sided opening. No map control, no presence towards Ivy, no presence towards mid. Astralis doesn't have any idea it's coming. The question is, what is the timing on this hit? When are they actually going to go in? Because Device just came back with his M4. Xyp9x is close up with the UMP, and here come the utility usage for CLG.
Straight out. Incendiary will attempt to slow them down, but they're already out. Device trying to do the damage, but quick trades go in favor of this T-side, leaving all of them trying to rotate in through the same angle. This could be perfect, and that's just up close and personal, waiting for them to try and go past, and they haven't spotted him out. Easy kill, leaving just 2 remaining, and really they should try and get out of here, but Kyobi's in such a horrible position to try and escape, and he will actually manage to get 1. Now they do still have a kit onto Glaive, but trying to find these remaining players, they should just be passive, and there's a long flank coming in to try and deny the escape. Cutler already being spotted out though. Kyobi may be able to make this costly. Actually, look at the HP of the remaining 2. Yeah. The problem is the time.
Yeah, I think if he has a kit and he knows that they're this low, he might actually even go for it. That was a pretty dangerous round for CLG. They had so much success early on and got the bomb planted, but some continued fights at disadvantages almost allow Astralis to get back into it. Either way, really nicely done from CLG. 5-man, no presence anywhere else on the map, just hit that B bomb site. Good trades, good kill on Xyp9x. I thought that Molotov was going to slow him down, but it's not as effective.
It was just a split second too
late.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It might just be like a half a second to a second too late. So CLG get that first gun run. I think there's going to be another one if I'm correct, because because of the investments into that, into the second round for Astralis. I think they'll be able to have another solid buy here.
Well, solid.
Maybe not.
Maybe
solid.
A little bit. We do have Xyp9x actually picking up. Oh, the AWP was on the floor.
The sneaky AWP that they didn't have.
Didn't see it coming. It does leave Xyp9x very low in this round, but I imagine he's just going to be playing very, very close. So it's sort of one of those spots where if you miss the shot, even with armor, you may be dead. So it's not really the worst case scenario. They're going to be going heavy over towards the A site, leaving just that one mag 7 to try and defend towards B. But just as we saw, we now have 3-pronged attack over towards Ivy. Will they expect an AWP? I'm not so sure.
Oh, the triple peek, and Device still comes out on top of it. And now he's got a bait and switch set up as well. KRB to his right, just in case they try and pressure that scenario. I mean, with KRB right there with an AK-47, he's well protected. And now CLG down a man, not a lot of utility. It's time for a play to be made on the other side of the map. Try and find a one-on-one duel. They don't know that Zipnix has this shotgun, so if someone comes out upper ramp, that would be the best fight possible.
He does have a little bit of support now rotating in, but it's going to be the lower push. Zipix with the mag, headshot onto FNS. He's down, and now they've got the 2-man advantage. This is where the problems really begin. The bomb's still waiting towards the sort of A site, and they will drop back down as Ricky looks to make his way out, but they need to find these kills because at the moment they're in such a disadvantage.
Yeah, these smokes are actually hurting CLG at the moment. Cutler trying to find something, and this is just a clean sweep from Astralis. Clinical defense here for the Danes as CLG can find nothing. They go towards Ivy, they get shut down by an AWP. Probably, to be honest, it almost seems like they didn't expect an AWP whatsoever, and that's twice. That happened in the first half as well. An early up buy for Astralis maybe catches CLG off guard, so Ethan's going to try and do what he can, takes one gun away, but again, doesn't realize there's another player here, and there's no way that Astralis is going to let him save this one. Glaive is just waiting for teammates before he pushes forward, and at any moment he'll be wiped out. So it is going to, actually they're just waiting for the timer. This is so tough. Ethan has no idea this is coming. There's one kill. Can he do more? Device with the AWP. He doesn't want to pressure, doesn't want to lose that weapon until his attention is turned elsewhere, and finally he gets it right at the end. So the economic punish as well, on top of everything.
That is almost cruel.
Yeah.
Just waiting to punish him right at the end of the round. It is going to leave them in quite a bit of trouble, of course. They didn't get the bomb down in that round. They had one in the previous, but other than that, it's a complete shutdown of economy. Cutler will invest a little bit. We will actually see Ethan pick up a pistol as well. But we know that they're even going to be struggling going into the next round to get a buy without some sort of plant. And once again, looking like they're going to try and challenge over towards Ivy.
And again, the name of the game now, I mean, it's just such a hard economic reset that they can't even really justify getting armor and too many upgraded pistols because they just don't have the money to spend on it. You'd like to see them have kind of something they could do to get 2 to 3 kills, maybe get lucky and find that plant. But I mean, the big thing right now is limiting the economy of Astralis. Don't let it balloon out of control, and they really have no tools to do it. It's got to be Cutler or Ethan with these deagles have got to be the ones to just find a headshot out of nowhere.
It's again looking like they are setting up for the A hit, but with minimal investment, it will be difficult. They have one smoke to play with. That's going to be thrown in by Cutler to try and hit over towards this A site. Glaive just looking to take a little bit more control over towards Ivy. Has actually split the trains. It means they can get across, but the problem is there's so many angles left to actually try and take. They need these deagles to at least hit one shot, at least isolate somebody so they can maybe try and find a way back towards that bomb. So they have pushed forward. Bomb already going to go down, and that's round over. There shouldn't be any way they get back into this. It's just attempting to do some damage. Kuster actually gets one with the Glock, which is something at least, but now Cutler just left alone. 4 players surviving, and well, Zipix on 1 HP. That's a little bit unfortunate.
That's a pretty decent range to get a Glock kill with as well. This is going to be a tough decision for CLG to make here because they have enough money to where they could kind of force up a little bit of a weaker buy into AK-47. Okay, so I was saying some players sitting right around 4,000, a little bit above 4,000. They could have bought the AK-47s, but I think their game plan has to be, get the AWP out, get an AWP in someone's hands, give them some time to try and find some kind of a pick outside. It's 10 to 10, so it's not like you're far behind where you can't afford to do this, but at least they also now have one smoke, but it's like the 3 Tech 9s that they can actually get aggressive, try and find a kill, maybe get a lucky headshot, and it opens things up.
4 players going over towards Ivy at the moment, just looking to push into that choke point. Very passive hold at the moment coming out from Kirby. We've seen them go aggressive towards Ivy multiple times on their CT side so far, but this time just going to be spotting. They've taken control of Pop in the meantime as well, so they are going to be clearing quite a few positions. And with the aggression over towards B, this should be fairly scripted towards the latter stages of the round. Now, Kirby just going to try and throw out the incendiary. Actually, it's the teammates that lands first, so just denying any further pushes at the moment. And they are actually going to be able to split away from Kirby and go towards the site.
Yeah, Zipnix is here. That's a nice shot on Akusta. Connects it somehow, shakes the crosshair when it works, and he's still alive. I think Counter Logic Gaming from here, they just need to try and get this bomb planted. There's one kill from Cutler in the spray down. Dupree on the flank. He finds two, and that's going to prevent anything. Ricky still here with the deagle. Hasn't even fired a bullet yet in this round. He'll have a chance here, but he misses the first one he takes. And Caribbean shuts him down 11-10. But now it comes out. Now here it is for CLG. Whatever strategy they have, they'll have anything they could possibly want. They'll have all the utilities, all the AWPs. And Astralis will have their first real big test on the CT side.
Yeah, the problem is doing it like that, though, has just enabled so much money to actually be built up for the Danes. I think last 2 rounds they've had 4 players surviving, and it's not really too much that can actually be done.
I mean, even if you look at the second round that was played in this half where CLG didn't have armor, all the SMG kills that Zipnik's got, that's what allows him to drop an AWP over to Device that gets the first pick in that round. So, I mean, CLG being very ineffective on their pistol rounds and their pistol buys, or lack thereof.
Gonna go set up over towards this A site. Smoke wall is gonna go down. Ricky actually gets the first kill as well, so it's a decent start, but they're switching back over towards this B site. But it seems the CTs are aware, already catching both, and now this push, it just seems a little bit too late. They were setting up. They've got it into a 3 versus 3, which normally does benefit the T side, and maybe the CTs think they're switching back. It's going to be just Glaive on the site, but he's doing quite a bit of damage. Throws the close smoke, but it doesn't bloom in time, and that gives Kusta the pick to give them the man advantage.
Yeah, Ethan watching the flank as well. Good awareness from him. Kusta can be a little bit confident that his back is covered at the moment. There's the shoulder peek from Ethan. Now he sees Dupree not committing to the fight. Dupree's got to make a move here. He's got to do it at some point. Ethan actually runs into the wall. That allows a kill to come out. This is doable. KRB, I don't think he spotted the shoulder. Cutler's showed on our screen for just a half second, but Kusta has no idea. He's getting wrapped upon from upper ramp. Here's going to be the chance. Dupree distracting, holding him in place. There's the kill. Great teamwork for Astralis. And Cutler is so far away, he doesn't actually have an angle. Oh, and the smoke as well. Ruins everything, and he falls. Astralis, CLG lets that crumble, and Astralis takes the round away from him.
They barely even take a point of damage. I don't know how they managed to do that. It looked like a lot of sort of timing errors coming out there from the T side. They obviously the jump across. It wasn't really necessary at all. Could have just stayed in the corner.
That's the thing, especially with Kusa down at the bottom like that. Like he could have just turned around. But I mean that's where like some of the inexperience of Ethan as a player, of CLG as a team. I mean trying to jump away and hitting the wall, it just exposes yourself to a death. And then I mean Dupree just from there, it's just a perfect job by Dupree of distracting Kusta while the flank came in from the upper ramp.
And well, this is just going to set them back to pistols once again. They seem to have everything going their way in that round, but it's not quite enough to get them one. And well, Astralis still, they're going to be building up that money. They're continuing the streak. Things can only get worse from here on out. And well, there's the start. First kill comes in. Kusta able to trade one back, but Device and Dupree combining, cleaning things up. A second player at least drop, but that will be all. 3 survive once again, 13-10.
This is where CLG's got to be. This is where almost you want to see a timeout come out and just say, you know, yeah, we lost that round. That's disappointing. A 3-on-1 post plant. And yeah, here's the timeout that we're going to see. But this is where, you know, Finesse as an in-game leader has to say, all right, calm down, keep the focus. You know, we've got another buy round coming up here. Another round we'll have everything we want. Let's go back at it. They gave themselves all the advantages in that round, and they just lost it. It seems, I think that what happened in that round actually was even... I think that was going to be an outside hit, and I think it was just the kill that Ricky gets. They're just kind of lured in by the success. Like, oh, there's an opening. Let's everyone change things up back to inside, and it did seem a little disjointed. It works out for him. I mean, a post plant and a 3-on-2, that's all you can really ask for. That's like one of the better outcomes. So just great play from the Astralis members in those clutch situations.
And well, now they are just going to finish up their 30-second talk to try and come up with something new. The thing, like you said, there wasn't anything too bad in the previous round. It was just the after plants, a few mistakes that came in that ended up throwing that one away. So if they can sort of repeat that, obviously it's a lot easier said than done. The entry pick isn't something that you can rely on all the time. You need somebody to sort of challenge. Ricky did the damage that time. But then if they can get back into that spot, then as long as they don't make the same mistakes, they should be absolutely fine. Now pushing aggressively over towards this B side. But in the meantime, the CTs are already taking over Ivy control. Kirby pushed much further forward than we've seen them so far. The only problem is there is only one player on B. It's going to be Zippix. He's got to be the catalyst once again, but I think once more he may have spotted them as they crossed.
Well, remember as well, the only round that CLG has won on this T side was all 5 players towards the inner bomb site. But look at the rotation this time. Not only has Zipnix called it, but I mean, Kirby pushed up in Ivy. He's pushing even further. Now he has all the intel. There's nothing there. So 3 players inside. This is going to be a test. And look at that. Molotov on the lower ramp. This is where, as a CLG member, as a terrorist member in this situation, you just say, oh, God, they know we're here. Oh, God, they know exactly what's coming. And this now gets difficult.
Still a minute left on the clock, though. They don't actually have to dedicate themselves over towards this B site with the knowledge. It's almost a double bluff, I guess. But they are just going to push in. It's going to be Xyp9x up close. There's plenty of players waiting. He'll try and transfer, but actually Kusa going to get another, so they now have the advantage themselves. Glaive is going to be nice and close, though. Denies the plant. The peak needs to come out from upper, maybe able to finish him off, and Kusta does just that. The rotation of the remaining two, however, will be in. They still don't have that plant down, but still enough time to play with 35 seconds on the clock, and the bomb will be going down.
Yeah, Kusa just raining down death from above and actually puts himself in exposed position, but wins it anyways. 4 kills for him. That first kill he gets with the AWP, the cover on the Astralis player running along that back wall. It looked like FNS was about to get dropped by him, but Kusta with a timely shot. 25 and 15 for him. Those frags in the server, but he's down by 2. Fortunate thing for CLG at the moment, still alive in this game, is look at the economy of Astralis. It's in a really, really rough spot.
Well, yeah, the damage they managed to do in the previous couple of rounds has come back to bite them a bit, so there's the potential to actually reset and then push forward on that T. So, of course, for this round at least, we are going to have the full buy-in for Astralis. Now, again, they had the read. This time they had the perfect read on that B-side, just weren't able to win the duels. So the props have to go to CLG for being able to force the issue. The problem is, I don't know how many times CLG are going to be able to get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. How many times are you going to be able to win? I mean, they've won it twice now with 5 players towards inner, but it seemed like Astralis had a great read. It seemed like they were rotating everyone. They were just leaving KRB out there, and they kind of shifted one away. Still, with 3 players inside, did look a little bit dire. This time CLG, Cutler's found. Dupree just sprang through the smoke, not able to be traded as well. That's heartbreaking. Finesse has the ankle with a Molotov, forces him away. I mean, this is just great knowledge by Astralis to protect their teammates in advanced positions. And now all map control is lost for CLG. Again, all they have is inside, and this time Dupree's going to be pushing. He's going to be flanking much, much quicker than they've seen in the past, and they have to take this bomb site quickly and efficiently.
And already Device is going to add another one to the death toll, making things more and more difficult by the seconds that go by. They've already got 4 players over towards this site. The bomb will be going down, but this time they've actually smoked off the man who did all the damage in the previous, and they even know he's there. Xyp9x shuts them down. An easy retake in the end for Astralis.
Yeah, it's a masterclass. Beautifully done. I mean, this time Astralis is catching on now, right? This is where Astralis has made the adjustments, and they say, all right, we know the only success you've had is a heavy play towards the inner bomb site, so we're just going to start cheating elsewhere on the map. We don't even have to hold it. This time, Device has some great opping, but I mean, even if he doesn't, Dupree on the quick flank that previous round, he's ready to go. So, I mean, CLG just boxed in, and now it's a little bit dire for the North American side.
It almost seemed like they were pushing them towards B in that round, just by taking all the control and just basically saying, yeah, you go this way, and we're ready for you.
Yeah, well, like, once they lost control in mid, it was just like, instead of trying to retake it, it was just like, let's get the hell out of here, let's go elsewhere. Desperation buy from CLG, though. Deagle and Tech9 on Ricky and Ethan, respectively, and look how aggressive this is. This is fast-paced towards outside. He almost catches one off guard. Dupree's going to get the first kill. Glaive chiming in as well, and this might be the shutdown already. Cutler with 1. Can he get a second? Kusta can. 3 on 3, but Ricky falls in Ivy.
The bomb has been dropped for quite a while as well, so Astralis knowing exactly where this is, all on Cutler, and that will be 15-11. The quasi-buy doesn't pay off, and now going into what could possibly be the last round, they're not going to have the best sort of buy to come back with.
No, I think it's, I mean, no bomb plant, but I think they have like a 3-round losing bonus built up or something like that. I mean, it's going to be a tough buy, especially when you consider, the amount of success they've had in these kinds of rounds, throughout this half. It hasn't been many. So, yeah, Tech9s is all they have. Again, the deagle on Ricky. They've got some smoke and utility to work with. The question is, they don't really have like a winning strategy to call here, right?
Yeah, a lot of it came down to individual plays, and well, there we go. Very aggressive push, something we haven't seen from Astralis just yet. They are going to go over towards this bit. That does no damage. Doesn't quite catch any of the players, and well, Device on the other side of the map even going to open things up. They are actually pushing back towards this B side, though. Again,
though, it's all they have. They've done this a couple times, but I mean, losing Kusta, there's no one else on the map anywhere that can give them any kind of a staging area to mount and execute, to mount and attack on the outer bomb site. So again, it's just kind of utility out, boys, hope and pray some shots are missed. And right now through the smoke, they've already got Ricky down. Ethan's down very, very low, no guns. And this is Astralis using the range of these weapons perfectly, not getting into the close-up fights against Tech9s, just sitting as far back as possible, using the range of the M4s. And all of CLG is wiped out. This is going to be the game. A more impressive performance from CLG than I think we expected. It's going to end 16-11, but Astralis really never felt in too much danger of losing this game.
Yeah, I think their CT side really shone through. There was a couple of individual plays that managed to take a round, or like a quick play over towards that B site, which was really the only thing they had. Like, even when there was only one player over towards A, they just never really seemed to get anything done. And in the end, it just looked like that CT side just outclassed anything they could pull out on the T side.
Yeah, they had the answers to everything. I mean, even in the first half when they're down 6-0, it's like, just stay calm. They figured it out eventually and come back with 6 straight of their own. And then, yeah, the CT side comes off. And, I mean, they just have – the big difference between the two CT sides was Astralis always had like the information just a couple seconds earlier than CLG would have gotten it on their own. Like you look back at the pistol round, Zipnix grabs that intel, they know to cheat someone over. CLG played everyone so far back that they didn't have any chance to cheat like a second or third player actually into the site. So it's things like that. It's those small information plays that Astralis were doing that gave them just a massive edge.
Yeah, I quite like what you were saying as well, that rather than just like rotating, it was sort of like a little shift.
Yeah.
Where it would be like, okay, I was here, now I go here, and you go here, like where I was.
Yep.
It's like
Covering the
almost
gaps.
just moving positions on like a little board, like someone just shifting them around. It's
Yeah.
just so cleverly done, and it's hard to counter.
It's hard. It's not as easy as it sounds to do, right? Like in your head, you're just like you're thinking, yeah, I know exactly like how to shift and take this guy's spot, but like the communication to do it in a match when an execute's coming in is very, very nice. And then just, I mean, the adjustments they made towards the end just kind of secured that half.
Okay, well, that is the end of map number 1. Of course, we are going to hand over to the analyst desk, who will take you through a little bit more detail and bring up what will be going on in our next match.